Om Shanti. Good morning. And for most of you, it's already Monday morning. And usually during Monday morning, everyone is gearing up to start their week. So they need that double dose of energy. And even today, Baba's going to give us a double dose of energy because we will be touching upon two Murlis. Both the Murlis are short and sweet, but very, very powerful and full of points which we can take in and think about for the whole week, or not just week, but even more than that. So some great points of self-reflection. And in the first Murli, Baba's talking about renunciation. And before he even touches on the subject of renunciation, Baba talks about love as well as power. And Baba says both of them are equally important. We have to have both of them in order to have a constant connection with Baba. So, and Baba talks about how the power aspect is something which we need to work upon. And then straight from talking about power, then Baba starts talking about renunciation, because what is it that we need to renounce from ourselves, within ourselves, so that we can become powerful. And from renunciation, Baba takes us towards dying alive, where what has to die within and what has to be awakened. So Baba has some beautiful points to share. So we'll listen to Baba's Avyakt Murli of 16th June, 1969. And the topic is, the greatest renunciation is the renunciation of vices. In what form are all of you sitting? Are you sitting here as the embodiment of love or the embodiment of power? What is your form at the moment? Is there power in love? Can there be both of these at the same time? Generally, when we talk about love, they say you fall in love, which means your stage falls because you develop attachment to the other soul, and we see how that stage drops. So here, Baba is talking about the love, but at the same time, are we powerful enough? Because we are loving towards God, even in the path of devotion. But what how do we connect with Baba in the path of knowledge is through spiritual understanding. But then at the same time, Baba emphasizes on power. Let there be power in that connection. So can there be both of these at the same time? Why don't you say that you are an embodiment of both? Why do you have love for Bap Dada? What is Bap Dada's main title? The one in which you have to become like him. So the title where we have to become like him. Bap Dada's main title is the Almighty Authority. If you simply have love, that love can sometimes be broken. But where there is the combination of both love and power, the meeting of the soul and the Supreme Soul remains eternal and constant. In order to make your meeting eternal, what method must you adopt? So meeting eternal means combined with Baba, constant link. You have to have the combination of love and power within yourself. Only then can you say that the soul and the Supreme Soul have met. You are sitting in the gathering, but while sitting in the gathering, some forget the meeting between the two. So what Baba says, yes, love is there. And even that's there in devotion. So we do things as per, in the path of devotion, we do things as per rituals. But when it comes to power, it means how much we are imbibing, how much we are becoming that what Baba wants us to do. So how much are we focused, how much concentration do we have while we're listening to Murli, sitting in yoga, because all that will then help us become powerful. So only then can you say that the soul and the Supreme Soul have met. While sitting in the gathering, some forget the meeting between the two. Acha, today, Bab Dada has come specially for the Kumaris. What day is it for the Kumaris today? Day for celebrating a meeting. And that time, the training of the Kumaris were happening. So it was a gathering of the Kumaris. So the result for all has been given. Are you able to know your own result? Have you become the knowers of the three aspects of time? Who is number one Kumari in this group? What is the main task of someone who is number one? So what is the main task of someone who is number one? To make others number one, like himself or herself. Kumaris have one more paper. So one main task is to make others equal to themselves. And then Baba says there's one more paper. It is a practical paper, not a written one. You are now number one in the 1 month's training, but can you be number one in the final result? Which main aspect do you need to keep in your intellect for that? You have renunciation and service, but which other main aspect is needed? So for the Kumaris, Baba is asking, what else is needed? You have the renunciation, you have the service. What is the greatest sacrifice and what is the greatest renunciation? To renounce seeing the defects of others is the greatest renunciation. So when it comes to renouncing what is making the soul weak, Baba says this is the biggest renunciation, not seeing defects in others. What is the greatest service? Which is the greatest service? What is the main service that an elevated server would do? What is the proof of the intense effort of an intense effort maker? So one thing is not seeing defects. And now other thing Baba's pointing out is, what is the other proof that you can show of being an intense effort maker? So to enable anyone who comes in front of him to experience a living death. It is said, you must die a living death at one stroke, which is called to die at a stroke, jhatko. You must not leave them incomplete, half dead, which means they come with a certain weakness in front of you and you enable them to remove that weakness instantly. Not that they leave with that still with them. And like your Baba says, half dead. I remember one small experience related to this. There was one sister who shared that when her mother started coming into Gyan, she still wanted to eat food which was not pure. Then one day she happened to meet the center instrument, and the center instrument gave her such a powerful drishti, that she herself came back home and she's like, I want to eat only pure food, nothing impure. So that is the power in the soul, where the weakness can be removed in just one stroke. So you must not leave them incomplete, half dead. Elevated service is to make them instantly die a living death at one stroke, which means that weakness is removed instantly. At present, you shoot the arrow, but when they go outside, they become alive again, which means in your presence, they might feel uplifted and they would like to listen, but when they go, that weakness again in them becomes powerful and influential. So, but a time will come when you will enable them to go beyond in a second with drishti, and then there will be success in service, and you will also have an impact. At present, although you make them experience death whilst alive, you're not able to do that instantaneously. So Baba is telling us that, yes, you can help other souls, but it takes time. It's not happening instantaneously. And Baba tells us why. Two things are lacking. If you imbibe these two things, you will be able to color others with your color. Are you those who have died instantly? You have to make a promise that from today, you have died instantly. You will not become alive to the old world again. So Baba says, dying to the old world. A dead person doesn't have expectations from this world. So Baba says, you have no expectations from this old world. And what has really died in you are the things of this old world. So that's why it's die alive. The soul is in the body, but the vices have died within, the weaknesses have died within. Just like when the body is dead, it is burnt, and from ashes, you can never get the body again. So in the same way, burning the vices, the weaknesses within, so that they can never be awakened again and become influential. Well, we wouldn't use the word never, because we know as the cycle comes, they will come again. But now in the confluence age, we completely remove them so that they do not influence the mind and the intellect. So are you those who have died instantly? You have to make a promise that from today, you have died instantly. You will not become alive to the old world again. Those who are courageous receive extra courage. Because you have courage, Bap Dada has love for you. So you were told about two things that are lacking. One main weakness is that you lack the practice of staying in solitude. And the second is that there isn't unity. So Baba, speaking about solitude and unity, and that we could be lacking in these. There is very little difference between the words unity, ekta, and solitude, ekant. Solitude can be on a physical level as well as on a subtle level. Both are needed here. So solitude at a physical level, where yes, you tend to have your own space, your own time for yourself, where you're free from engaging in external activities, conversations, your time. But then at the same time, Baba says subtle level, that even while you're performing actions, you're engaged in conversations, interactions, there is solitude within, which means you're creating elevated thoughts, and you're sustaining those elevated thoughts within. So if you experience the bliss of being in solitude, you will not enjoy being extroverted. So when it comes to extroverted, the sound, with all the extroversion that comes, but with introversion, there is silence. So Baba is asking us to enjoy that bliss of being in solitude, enjoy that silence. So at present, everyone's interest is drawn more towards extroversion. These two things are lacking within the majority of you. In order to increase the practice of being subtle, this is very essential. You have to maintain a greater interest for being in solitude. Kumaris are now going to take a practical course. So they are going to be given 3 gifts. The gifts are the sign of love. And so Baba in the 3 relationships is giving you 3 gifts which you must never forget. Always keep the gifts from Bapdada with you. Gifts have to be kept hidden away. And so always remember the gift from the Father. And here why Baba says gifts have to be kept hidden away means you use them, but then at the same time, don't lose them. Yes? So keep it safely. They are valuable. And so always remember the gift from the Father of his teachings. And the teachings that the Father gives are that you always remain obedient and faithful to Bapdada. So here Baba says the gift from Baba of his teachings. So the teachings are Bapdada's gift for us. So the Father gifts are that you always remain obedient and faithful to Bapdada, the instrument sisters, and the divine family members. So it's about obedience, being faithful to Baba, to the instruments and the family members. So this is the gift of Father's teachings. And then what is the gift from the teacher? Teachings must always be imbibed. Wherever you go, always remember the teachings of the teacher, and they are imbibe knowledge and imbibe virtues. So, as teachings from teachers, so when Baba said all 3 relationships, so one is Father, a teacher, and Sadguru. So from the teacher, the teachings must always be imbibed. Imbibe knowledge and virtues. And the teaching from the Guru is that you must always remain in unity. You must remain constant and in remembrance of one. In the form of Shaktis, imbibe the ornaments that Vishnu has been shown with. As being the ornaments being the discus, being the spinner of discus of self-realization, the conch shell, blowing of sharing of the knowledge, and the other ornaments that we have. So Baba says, always keep these ornaments in front of you. These are the teachings, gifts of teachings from the 3 relationships of the Father, the teacher, and the Guru, given specially to the Kumaris. Now, Baba will see which ones keep these gifts with them. So, Baba has given the gifts, which are the teachings. So, how we will imbibe the teachings, how that teachings will convert into virtues and powers, because ultimately when we're using knowledge, it is getting converted into virtues and powers. That is what we start experiencing. And then Baba says the ornaments, yes, so we have to be in the form of a Shakti. So here Baba says those people are preparing refined bombs. You now have to drop the refined bombs of knowledge. And so when we talk about anything refined, like refined sugar, so it's the process of removing unwanted elements. It's making it elegant, even in terms of presentation. It's more developed, it's improved. So here Baba says, drop refined bombs of knowledge which are, points of knowledge which are essential to the point and which really help in striking the target. So you have a lot of service at the crawling speed of ants. When bombs are dropped, everything is wiped out very quickly. In the same way, the special service of spreading the sound all around, do the special service of spreading the sound all around, and that is called dropping a bomb. So dropping bombs of knowledge, such that it can spread far and wide. It can really have a huge impact. The more refined someone is, the more refined the bombs he will drop on others. So if we are churning knowledge, if we understand the deeper aspects of knowledge, we're able to explain the knowledge in a deeper way to others. So that's why Baba says, if you are refined, you'll be able to drop refined bombs of knowledge on others. You now have to become all-rounders. And all-rounders means capable of doing any service, not just one type of service, but any service that comes to you. And when we talk about service, it has so many ways, through mind, through words, through your actions. So all-rounders. The more you become this, the closer you will come to the family in the golden age. The result of the training is only seen when you reveal yourself by having gone all around. Baba will see the result after the practical course. And the practical course is nothing but in our day-to-day lives. When we are practically living this knowledge, whatever we learn from Baba, we're applying it in a practical way. So it's the practical course, and after that, Baba will see the result. And here Baba says, you have to reveal yourself by having gone all around, which means a variety of service could come towards you. So are you able to do all of that? So that's why Baba says, having gone all around. Now, when you come back to Madhuban after a month, do not come alone. Your training is not yet complete. The practical paper begins now. No one must return here alone. So Baba wants you to bring someone with you, someone you made equal to yourself. So no one must return here alone. Come as a guide of someone or another. Bring pilgrims with you. Bap Dada has many hopes in these Kumaris. Bap Dada merges his eyes, in his eyes, those jewels who fulfill his hopes. So Baba's emerging all of those special jewels who are fulfilling Baba's hopes, which are all his children. Acha, Om Shanti. So this was one Murli, and now we will listen to the other Murli from Baba. And this one is from the one spoken on June 18th, 1969, where Baba's meeting different groups. So here Baba says, what is the first lesson of this school? To die a living death. To die a living death means to be dead to your body, your friends, relations, and the old world whilst alive. So, which means where your intellect is not pulled by all those forces of the old world, your friends, relations, and even the body. But your intellect is pulled towards Baba, your intellect is pulled towards your home, and where you are about to go to the land of happiness. So that is dying alive. Where is the intellect being pulled? So dying alive. Have you made this first lesson firm? Do we not die a living death to our sanskaras? When someone dies, his past sanskaras also finish. So here also, why should you remember your past sanskaras? Since it is another birth, all the things of the past birth should have finished. So when we move from one body to another, so we forget a lot of the things. So here Baba says, this is your spiritual birth, it's your new birth. So why do we still cling to our past sanskaras? And why do we say that this sanskara is so strong in us? Will the sanskara go? Yes, sometimes we have that internal conversations with ourselves, how we deal with such a strong sanskara. So Baba says, we still hold on to them. And here Baba says, this is another birth, it's your spiritual birth. So all the things of the past should have finished. This is the first lesson in dying a living death. You must make this firm. Your past or sanskara should appear to be as though they were the sanskaras of someone else, not your own. So we shouldn't be saying that, oh, I have this strong sanskara in me. We should be like, this sanskara is of someone else. I am someone else. I am Baba's child, the powerful one, the Master Almighty one. Just like Baba said, Baba's main title is our main title too. So previously they were of a Shudra, now they are of a Brahmin. And so you must not have the old sanskaras of the Shudras. Why do you make someone else's sanskaras your own? Yeah, so again and again, Baba is underlining. Don't keep telling these are my sanskaras. So even break that attachment to the old sanskaras that we have by using the word these. This is what I carry. These are my old sanskaras. Baba says, it's not yours, it's of someone else's. And why are you carrying sanskaras of someone else? What would you call someone who makes others, people's things belong to him? So what would you say if you're carrying something which doesn't belong to you but someone else? A thief. So why do you steal this? Why should Brahman accept the things of a Shudra? If someone's clothes just touch an untouchable person, he goes and takes a bath. And so what should you do if the sanskars of a Shudra are adopted by a Brahmin? You have to make effort for that. Just as one never touches dirty things, in the same way, you must keep yourself safe from old sanskaras. You must not touch them. Only when you pay so much attention will you be able to draw the attention of others to this. So what that means is, when we pay attention not to focus on our old sanskaras, but to focus on our original sanskaras, the sanskaras of divinity, And Baba says, when you pay attention to that, then you will become an example for others to also do the same. You'll be able to draw the attention of others. So others will also focus on what's divine in them, the divine sanskaras, the purity in them. So what is the main virtue for success in service? So for success, the main virtue is humility. The more humble you are, the more success there is. One becomes humble when there is the consciousness of being an instrument. So, when you get credit for something which you haven't done, what would you usually say? I haven't done this. It was, this person who did it. So that humility is there. So in the same way, we know Baba's doing, we're just present where we need to be for service, but it's really Baba taking over and getting the service done. So that consciousness of being an instrument will make you humble. It wasn't I who did it, but it was Baba who did. And we were just present there. So you must do service while considering yourself to be an instrument. When you have the virtue of humility, everyone will bow down to you. Everyone bows down to those who themselves bow first. Yeah, so keeping others in front as a sign of humility. Bowing down, which means respecting others, respecting their choices. So that in itself leads to they respecting you back. So everyone bows down to those who themselves bow first. You must carry out all tasks while considering yourself to be an instrument. Just as the Father only takes the support of the body as an instrument, in the same way, you must consider that you have adopted this body only as an instrument. So Baba uses us, the soul, as an instrument. And it's for us to realize that this body is also an instrument for I, the soul. So the first thing to consider this body to be an instrument. And then is to consider yourself to be an instrument for service. Then there will be humility, which means I am in this world just for service. And this body is being given to me for that. So with that awareness, Baba says, there will be humility. And with humility, there will be success. Then watch success come in front of you. Just as Bapdada enters a body temporarily, in the same way, consider the body to be a support and instrument. Does Bapdada have attachment to the body? When you consider it to be a support, you will not be dependent. So when there's attachment, there will be dependency. But here Baba says, when you just consider it to be a support, you won't be dependent on it. It won't be that attachment to the body. At present, you are dependent on the body, whereas then you will control the body, which means when our stage becomes very powerful, we will be able to control the body, the senses, and not just the body and senses, but also our subtle senses, the mind, the intellect. So there is the praise that a world is created through vision. What kind of world is created and when is it created? Why is it that just the world and the vision are praised? Why isn't there any praise for the mouth? What do you change first of all at the confluence age? So Baba is telling you why there's so much attention paid on the vision and not so much to the words. because here the vision is nothing but the awareness. So the awareness changes, and that leads to the transformation required in order to first bring back the purity in us, and then to bring back the pure world, the golden aged world. So why do you change what do you change first of all at the confluence age? What is the first lesson that you are taught? To see each other with the vision of brotherhood. So to maintain the awareness that we are souls, we are brothers, children of the one Father. To have the vision of brotherhood means to change the vision first, and then everything changes. So our awareness changes, and with awareness, everything else starts to change. This is why there is the praise that the world is created through vision. And this is the internal vision. What am I projecting to this world outside based on my awareness? Yes, that's the vision. When you see the soul, this world appears to be old. The main effort is to change your vision. When your vision is changed, your stage and circumstances also change. So, with your awareness and the way we look at this world, ourselves, the stage, your stage will change. Circumstances will also change. The way we deal with circumstances will change. So when your vision changes, your virtues and karma also change. This soul conscious vision should become natural. Those who become their own king at the confluence age can also become a king of the subjects. So self-sovereign and then world sovereign. Those who are not their own king here cannot be a king of the subjects. The seed of all sanskaras is sown at the confluence age. Without the seed of this time, the tree cannot be created in the future. If you do not sow the seed here, where will the fruit come from? What will happen when you become your own king? So when we come in control of this body, the senses, the mind and intellect, what will happen when we become our own king? You will consider yourself to have all rights. In order to be the one who has all rights, you need to have the virtue of a generous heart. The more generous-hearted you are, the more you will have all rights. As if you can see in the world outside, if a king is generous, the more they are loved by the people, the more willing people are, more willing the subjects are to follow the orders of the king. So it's the same here, being generous-hearted. A heart which is full of love as well as power, the heart that is willing to give. And with that, you will see that you will feel you're the one who has all rights, which means others will also cooperate with you. Whatever is needed at that moment, everything will happen smoothly, just like how king gives orders and things happen accordingly. Whatever intentions you have for seva, for other things, you will see it, the flow will naturally happen. So you don't even have to make so much effort. Things will naturally come. So the more generous-hearted you are, the more you will have all rights. Acha. The main duty of Brahmins is to study and teach others. If you remain busy in this, your intellect will not be drawn to other things. So keep yourself busy in studying and teaching others. Bapdada has told you that you can serve with the attitude of your mind and your avyakt drishti. So Baba says you can serve how? With a powerful attitude of your mind, the way of your thinking. The thoughts are powerful. These thoughts are filled with the power of knowledge. And then your Baba says, and your avyak drishti, your soul conscious vision towards others and your good wishes for others. So there is no bondage in serving through your attitude and vision. You should do service through that in which you are completely free. So the thoughts, Baba says, the soul conscious vision, the Baba says, there's no bondage in this. Yes, for other kinds of service, yes, people might oppose, people might have different ideas, but this is purely your service, serving through the mind, having a soul conscious vision, giving good wishes to everyone. So Baba says you're completely free when it comes to doing this service. So Baba says, do as much as you do that, and keep yourself busy. And so that your intellect is not drawn to anything else. Acha, Om Shanti. So we'll just reflect for a minute in silence on what we heard so far, and then we can discuss the points together. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So does anyone have any questions or would like to share some points which touch their hearts, which touch your hearts?
Om Shanti, sister. Baba speaks about two things, which is how I've taken love and power, renunciation and service. And how do I do it? By practicing solitude and unity. This is what is the key points which I'm going to churn on today.
Yes, yes, these points require deep reflection. So Baba has started this week for us with such powerful points to reflect on. Anybody else would like to share?
Morning all. Baba says balance of love and power. Till now, I was always confused about how to balance this. What does actually power mean? Does it mean saying the right things in the forefront way, confronting? I mean, actually, after yesterday's with Murli and today, the value of power, truthfulness, all is very much clear. Baba today further mentioned that power means renunciation of not seeing the defects in others, which almost equates to becoming loveful. To love somebody we should not see vices in others. And power also means to have the power to renunciate, the energy to renunciate from not seeing the defects in others. So I got a perfect understanding of the balance between the two, that is balance of love and power. The second point I liked very much was the practice of being in solitude and unity. I need to churn more on this. However, being in solitude, that is being in ekantata, that I liked very much. Here, Baba clarified the meaning of extroversion again. And what does actually introversion and extroversion mean? I used to always think introversion, yes, it's good, but what is it all about? Now, Baba mentioned that if you are enjoying the bliss in solitude, you will not enjoy extroversion. That's when I understood that being in bliss of self, solitude is actual introversion. Thank you, sister, for entering. Thank you, Shanti.
Thank you, brother.
To deepen what Vinod Bhai just shared, that what Baba said, that we have to renounce seeing defects of others. The first question that came to my mind is, who gave us the right to look at defects in others? Number one. And number two, who gave us the right to label them as defects? We have not got this birth to point out the defects of others. We are here to live our life and complete a karmic cycle. And in the journey, we forget that. So coming back to that point, that the thing which we don't have a right for, how can we renounce that? I would call that also as body consciousness, as ego. So reaching to that level is that I don't have a right to label anyone anything. That is the first thing. And once that thing opens up, if that concept is clear, I guess the rest of the things will automatically follow. The second thing, what Vinod Bhai said about Ekant and Ekta, which Baba said in today's Murli, actually they're paradoxical. When you say about Ekant, about solitude, in today's time, to be introvert, to be with your own self is the greatest challenge the human race is facing. They end up being lonely. They collapse solitude by being lonely. They get uncomfortable. That is the reason they ongoingly want to speak to people, to be connected to people. And the unity that Baba talked about, the ekant, the unity that you would have with your own soul, that you can only find when you're one with your own self and solitude. There are other points which are there, but I shall address them as we move ahead. Om Shanti.
Beautiful. Om Shanti. And we just spoke about introversion and extroversion. Even in the story of Mahabharata, if you see, when Arjun was to marry Draupadi, before the marriage, there was a competition that he had to win. And in that competition, his arrow had to strike the eye of a fish, which was moving, but he couldn't look at the fish directly. He had to look at the reflection of the fish. So he had to look down at the reflection of the fish and then hit the target. So that external situation is there, but what is the internal reflection of that situation on me? That is what we need to see first. And when we are able to see that, we're able to understand it properly, that's when we will really be able to conquer what's external to us. So that internal reflection of the situation is where we need to take ourselves towards. Again, that's introversion, tuning in within. And then from that space, then going out, which means then I know which power to use. I know how to respond to that situation. So just wanted to share that. If anyone else would like to share?
In today's times, Sneha Ben, actually, if you look at the terms extrovert and introvert, in Lokik life, introvert is considered as a negative quality, and extrovert is considered as a positive quality. Whereas the learnings that we've got is looking at introvert and extrovert in a very different angle. And if I can sum it up in one line, I would say be introvert to be extrovert means look within your own self, take out all the virtues and the values, be an embodiment of that, and be extrovert, not from ego or from body consciousness, but to contribute to the human race, to spread the learnings, the knowledge, the virtues, and the values. And that can only happen once you are one in ekta by being introvert. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Anyone else? Anything to share? So,
Om Shanti.
yes, go ahead.
Today, Baba said that in order to have success in your service, you need to have the quality of humility. The more you bow down, the people will bow down to you. So consider yourself and your body as an instrument, and then go to service. Then design yourself in such a way that situations also change, and everything works in your favor. So you have to become like Baba in that sense. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Sister, today Murli also gives a teaching or a learning that we are an instrument for service, and everything what is being done is by the Baba. And I must consider myself as just an instrument which Baba is playing. And this is a message, takeaway which I'm taking today. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. And I'll just like to share one experience, and this just came in thoughts. So I'll go ahead and share. So we just had a retreat here in San Francisco. I'm here from Los Angeles, but we have we had a retreat in San Francisco just a few weeks back. And in the retreat, we had a very senior instrument who had come. And during the retreat, after lunch, so, that instrument wasn't well, so couldn't eat much and had left some food in the plate and, just left to rest a little bit. And then there was another soul who saw that the food was wasted. And then, the thoughts, then the words started coming, oh, this food is wasted and it was done by this instrument. So, how does talk start? But then there was quickly another sister who came and she's like, you know what, just put it in the trash so that nobody sees it and there's no unnecessary conversation that happens. And that truly touched me deeply, because that truly is being a Yagya Rakshak, being a protector of the Yagya, where you are making sure there are no wasteful conversations or wasteful thoughts going on in Baba's Pure Center or anywhere else. If we have, if in a way we can even help to build the vibrations of a place and to make sure nothing waste is being sustained, That's really, really the duty of a Yagya Rakshak. And, that was such a beautiful learning for me, because many times we look at our own, from our own lens that, oh, the food was wasted, but we never tried to understand that that soul wasn't able to eat because the body was not doing well. The body could only take as much. So, but then, those talks which started, but then just taking it away so that there's no expansion of that waste, and to protect the energy of that place, that's truly a Yagya Rakshak. And here, like Baba said, we are being Yagya Rakshaks, and we are even protecting our own self by not seeing defects or weaknesses. We're just seeing specialities. We're just holding pure thoughts and elevated thoughts within. So because with those thoughts only, we will be able to serve, and our stage will be powerful enough to serve. So making sure that we don't create waste, and if there is any waste being created, then being that instrument to even end that waste. So just wanted to put out there for everyone. And yes, go ahead.
Yes, Nabin, go ahead.
Okay, I thought someone wanted to share. Okay, so yes, like it says in the chat here, when we change, then circumstances will change, right? So when our thinking change, how we handle the situation changes. So making sure that everything we do with a humble heart, being an instrument, and keeping the vibrations powerful around us at all times. So with that, we can move, or maybe just move towards the next segment. We'll meditate together. And in our meditation, we will just think about these points that what Baba has given us for today. So I invite you all . I focus my awareness, my vision towards my true self, the point of light, the soul that shines within. Just like how from our hearts we love Baba, we must also fulfill the return of that love by being powerful, being an embodiment of love and power. In order to be powerful, let me renounce everything within me which is making me weak. The sanskaras of body consciousness are not mine. They are of someone else. The sanskaras of mine are the sanskaras of Baba. I am the one who has died alive. Nothing of this old world exists within me. There are no attachments to this body, to these relationships. I am here just for service. I am an instrument of Baba, and this body is an instrument for me in order to do service. Having that awareness of being an instrument makes me humble. And with humility, there will always be success. I am a soul with all rights. I am the one who is self-sovereign. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Snehaben, for the wonderful Murli that you have conducted. Thank you, Divine Family, for churning the points of the Murli, and see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Till that time, have a wonderful day.
Om Shanti. Thank you to the family. Thank you, Papa.
Om Shanti, sister. Thank you